Unmasking DASD, 50 Myths About Dramatic Attention-Seeking Disorder Debunked. The louder the voice, the quieter the soul. Elena was the life of every party, vibrant, captivating, and impossible to ignore. Her laughter echoed through the room, and her gestures were grand, sweeping like the strokes of an artist's brush across a blank canvas. But when the party ended and the crowd dispersed, Elena's world grew silent and heavy. Alone in her apartment, the echoes of laughter faded, replaced by the deafening quiet of solitude. She stared at her reflection, the makeup she had meticulously applied earlier now smudged and tired. "Who am I when no one is watching?" she whispered to herself. It was a question she couldn't answer, a void she couldn't fill. The louder she was in public, the quieter her soul felt in private. The validation she sought in others' eyes was a fleeting comfort, slipping away as soon as the lights dimmed. Behind every dramatic gesture, every outburst of emotion, was a deep-seated fear that, without the spotlight, she would simply cease to exist. This was the cycle Elena found herself trapped in, a perpetual performance with no intermission, driven by an insatiable need to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be loved. Yet, no matter how many accolades she collected, they never quite filled the emptiness inside. This was the reality of dramatic attention-seeking disorder, where the performance never ends and the silence off stage is more terrifying than any audience. Welcome to the 4th episode of our 5-part series exploring Cluster B personality disorders. Today, we're diving into a condition often misunderstood and at times dismissed as mere theatrics. Histrionic Personality Disorder, which we'll refer to throughout this episode as Dramatic Attention-Seeking Disorder, DASD. At its core, DASD involves a pattern of excessive emotionality and attention-seeking behavior. Individuals with this condition often feel uncomfortable when they aren't the center of attention. They may engage in behavior that is provocative or excessively dramatic to maintain their place in the spotlight. But this isn't just about seeking attention for the sake of it. Beneath the surface lies a deeper need for approval and validation, often rooted in low self-esteem and a fear of being forgotten or insignificant. While DASD is sometimes dismissed as mere drama, the reality is much more complex. Like other personality disorders, DASD is a mental health condition that affects an individual's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in ways that can lead to significant distress and impairment in daily life. Let's begin by addressing the prevalence of DASD. Research suggests that it affects about 1.8% of the general population, making it one of the less common personality disorders, APA 2013. It is diagnosed more frequently in women, but as with other personality disorders, this gender disparity may be influenced by diagnostic biases and cultural factors rather than an actual difference in prevalence, Whittaker 2011. Throughout this episode, when we refer to DASD, we are discussing what is clinically known as Histrionic Personality Disorder. The purpose of this discussion is to shed light on the realities of this condition and debunk the myths that surround it. What does dramatic attention-seeking disorder look like? To be diagnosed with DASD, an individual must exhibit a pervasive pattern of excessive emotionality and attention-seeking behavior, as indicated by 5 or more of the following criteria from the DSM-5. 1. Uncomfortable when not the center of attention. Example, constantly redirecting conversations to themselves or feeling anxious when others are the focus. 2. Interaction with others, often characterized by inappropriate, sexually seductive, or provocative behavior. Example, using flirtation or sexual behavior to gain attention in situations where it's not appropriate. 3. Displays rapidly shifting and shallow expression of emotions. Example, exhibiting intense happiness one moment and then sudden sadness or anger shortly after without a clear reason. 4. Consistently uses physical appearance to draw attention to themselves. Example, dressing provocatively or in a way designed to ensure they stand out. 5. Has a style of speech that is excessively impressionistic and lacking in detail. Example, speaking in broad emotional terms rather than providing specifics or meaningful content. 6. Shows self-dramatization, theatricality, and exaggerated expression of emotion. Example, turning everyday events into major dramas or displaying extreme emotional reactions to minor incidents. 7. Is suggestible, that is, easily influenced by others or circumstances. Example, changing opinions or behavior based on the latest trend or the person they're with, rather than consistent personal beliefs. 8. Considers relationships to be more intimate than they actually are. Example, believing they have a deep connection with someone they just met or seeing casual acquaintances as close friends. It's important to recognize that these behaviors are often not intentional or calculated, but rather habitual patterns that stem from underlying psychological needs. Individuals with DASD typically have a strong desire to be noticed and validated, which can drive them to seek attention in ways that may seem excessive to others. To be diagnosed with DASD, an individual typically needs to consistently exhibit at least 5 of these traits. These patterns must be 1. Pervasive, occurring across various situations and contexts. 2. Persistent, stable over time, usually beginning by early adulthood. 3. Problematic, causing significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning such as relationships. It's crucial to remember that only a qualified mental health professional can diagnose DASD. This process often involves multiple sessions and may include structured interviews, psychological testing, and gathering information from various sources. Prevalence and statistics. Before we dive into the misconceptions, let's discuss the prevalence of DASD and related statistics. According to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5, the prevalence of Histrionic Personality Disorder, HPD, is estimated to be about 1.84% in the general population. American Psychiatric Association 2013. Interestingly, unlike some other personality disorders, DASD shows a more balanced gender distribution, though there may be slight differences in how it manifests across genders. Some studies suggest that DASD is diagnosed more frequently in women, while others indicate a more equal prevalence between men and women. Nove and others, 2015. It's important to note that DASD often co-occurs with other mental health conditions. Studies have shown high comorbidity rates with other personality disorders, particularly from Cluster B, as well as mood disorders and anxiety disorders, Zimmerman and Morgan, 2013. Now, let's address some common misconceptions about DASD. These misconceptions have been compiled from various reputable sources, including peer-reviewed psychological literature, clinical observations, and common public misunderstandings reported by mental health professionals. Key sources include works by Theodore Millen, a pioneer in personality disorder research, and more recent studies in the field of personality disorders. As we go through these misconceptions, remember that DASD is a complex disorder that requires professional diagnosis and treatment. These misconceptions highlight why it's crucial to avoid casual labeling and seek expert help when dealing with suspected DASD in oneself or others. Let's begin with our list of common misconceptions. Misconception 1. People with DASD are just drama queens or attention seekers, focusing solely on being overly emotional or dramatic. Reality. While attention-seeking and dramatic behavior are key features of DASD, these actions are rooted in a deep-seated need for validation and acceptance, often stemming from underlying insecurities and fears of being ignored or unimportant. DASD involves a pervasive pattern of emotional instability and attention-seeking that impacts various aspects of life. Misconception 2. DASD only affects women. Reality. Although historically diagnosed more often in women, DASD can affect individuals of any gender. The perception of it being a female disorder may be due to cultural biases and diagnostic criteria that have traditionally been biased towards female presentation of symptoms. Misconception 3. People with DASD are only interested in superficial relationships. Reality. While individuals with DASD may struggle with deep connections due to their intense need for attention, they are capable of desiring and forming meaningful relationships. The challenge lies in managing their emotional needs and insecurities. Misconception 4. People with DASD are always extroverted and outgoing, or they can't be introverted. Reality. While many individuals with DASD may appear extroverted, this is not always the case. Some may have introverted tendencies, experience social anxiety, or feel uncomfortable in large groups despite their need for attention. Their attention-seeking behaviors might be more subtle or selective. Misconception 5. People with DASD are always aware of their attention-seeking behaviors. Reality. Many individuals with DASD may not be fully aware of the extent or impact of their behaviors. The attention-seeking often feels natural and necessary to them rather than a conscious choice. Misconception 6. DASD is just a phase that people grow out of. Reality. Like other personality disorders, DASD is a persistent pattern of behavior that typically begins in early adulthood and continues throughout life without treatment. However, with proper intervention, symptoms can be managed and reduced. Misconception 7. People with DASD can't form genuine relationships. Reality. While relationships can be challenging for individuals with DASD, they are capable of forming genuine connections. However, these relationships may be complicated by their intense need for attention and approval. Misconception 8. DASD is the same as narcissism. Reality. While there may be some overlapping traits, DASD and narcissistic personality disorder are distinct conditions. People with DASD seek attention and approval from others, while those with narcissism are more focused on their own perceived greatness. Misconception 9. People with DASD are always flirtatious or sexually provocative. Reality. While seductive behavior can be a symptom of DASD, it's not universal. The need for attention can manifest in various ways, not all of which are sexual in nature. Misconception 10. DASD is just an excuse for bad behavior. Reality. DASD is a recognized mental health condition, not a justification for actions. Like other mental health disorders, it requires understanding, proper diagnosis, and treatment. Misconception 11. People with DASD can easily control their behavior if they want to. Reality. The behaviors associated with DASD are deeply ingrained and not easily controlled without professional help. Change requires significant effort, therapy, and often a fundamental shift in how one views oneself and relates to others. Misconception 12. DASD is caused by poor parenting or childhood trauma. Reality. While environmental factors can play a role, the exact causes are not fully understood. It's likely a combination of genetic, neurobiological, and environmental factors. Misconception 13. People with DASD are always the life of the party or the initiators in social situations. Reality. While some individuals with DASD may thrive in social settings and enjoy being the center of attention, this is not universal. Others may struggle with initiating interactions due to fear of rejection or not receiving the desired response. The disorder's manifestation can vary greatly depending on the individual and context. Misconception 14. DASD is a modern disorder caused by social media. Reality. While social media can exacerbate symptoms, DASD has been recognized in psychology long before the advent of social media. However, platforms that provide immediate feedback and attention can be particularly appealing to individuals with DASD. Misconception 15. People with DASD don't experience deep emotions. Reality. Individuals with DASD often experience intense emotions, but these emotions may shift rapidly and can be relatively shallow or short-lived compared to those without the disorder. Misconception 16. DASD is easily diagnosed through online tests or self-assessment. Reality. Only a qualified mental health professional can diagnose DASD through comprehensive assessment. Online tests may provide some insights, but are not a substitute for professional evaluation. Misconception 17. People with DASD are always confident and self-assured. Reality. Despite outward appearances, many individuals with DASD struggle with low self-esteem and insecurity, which often drive their attention-seeking behaviors. Misconception 18. DASD is untreatable. Reality. While challenging, DASD can be treated with long-term psychotherapy, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and psychodynamic approaches. Treatment can help individuals manage symptoms and improve relationships. Misconception 19. People with DASD can't maintain long-term relationships or careers. Reality. While DASD can complicate relationships and professional life, Many individuals with this disorder can maintain long-term connections and successful careers, especially with proper support and treatment. Misconception 20. DASD is just an extreme form of extroversion. Reality. While some symptoms may appear similar to extreme extroversion, DASD is a distinct mental health condition characterized by a pervasive pattern of attention-seeking and emotional instability that goes beyond typical extroverted behavior. Misconception 21. People with DASD are always manipulative. Reality. While manipulation can be a feature of DASD, it's often not intentional or malicious. The behaviors are usually driven by an intense need for attention and validation rather than a desire to exploit others. Misconception 22. DASD only affects a person's social life. Reality. DASD can impact various aspects of a person's life, including their relationships, career, self-image, and overall mental health. Misconception 23. People with DASD don't experience anxiety or depression. Reality. Individuals with DASD can and often do experience other mental health issues, including anxiety and depression, particularly when their needs for attention and validation are not met. Misconception 24. DASD is the same as borderline personality disorder, BPD. Reality. While there may be some overlapping symptoms, DASD and BPD are distinct disorders with different core features. BPD is characterized more by instability in self-image, relationships, and emotions, while DASD focuses more on attention-seeking and dramatic expression. Misconception 25. People with DASD can't empathize with others. Reality. While individuals with DASD may sometimes appear self-centered due to their attention-seeking behaviors, many are capable of both logical and emotional empathy. However, their own emotional needs may sometimes overshadow their ability to respond empathetically to others. Misconception 26. DASD is a character flaw rather than a mental health condition. Reality. DASD is a recognized mental health disorder with complex underlying causes, not simply a flaw in character or a choice. Misconception 27. People with DASD are always seeking negative attention. Reality. While some may engage in behaviors that attract negative attention, many individuals with DASD are seeking positive attention and approval. The methods they use to gain attention may sometimes be perceived negatively by others. Misconception 28. DASD only affects adults. Reality. While typically diagnosed in adulthood, traits of DASD can begin to emerge in adolescence. However, mental health professionals are cautious about diagnosing personality disorders in individuals under 18 as personality is still developing. Misconception 29. People with DASD can't be successful in their careers. Reality. Many individuals with DASD can be quite successful, particularly in careers that allow for creativity, performance, or public engagement. However, they may face challenges in workplace relationships or consistency. Misconception 30. DASD is purely caused by genetics or is entirely environmental. Reality. The exact causes of DASD are not fully understood, but are likely a combination of genetic, neurobiological, and environmental factors. It is neither solely inherited nor purely the result of one's upbringing, but rather a complex interplay of various influences. Misconception 31. People with DASD are always lying or exaggerating. Reality. While individuals with DASD may sometimes exaggerate or embellish stories to gain attention, this isn't always the case. Many of their experiences and emotions are genuine, even if expressed dramatically. Misconception 32. DASD is caused by too much attention in childhood. Reality. The causes of DASD are complex and not fully understood. While childhood experiences play a role, it's likely a combination of genetic, neurobiological, and environmental factors. Misconception 33. People with DASD can't have meaningful friendships. Reality. Individuals with DASD can form meaningful friendships, although these relationships may be complicated by their need for attention and approval. With awareness and effort, they can maintain healthy friendships. Misconception 34. DASD is just an adult version of ADHD. Reality. While both disorders may involve attention-seeking behaviors, they are distinct conditions with different underlying causes and manifestations. ADHD primarily affects attention and impulse control, while DASD is characterized by dramatic, attention-seeking behavior and emotional instability. Misconception 35. People with DASD are always good actors or performers. Reality. While some individuals with DASD may excel in performance-related fields due to their comfort with being the center of attention, this isn't universal. The disorder doesn't inherently confer acting or performance skills. Misconception 36. DASD is easily treated with medication. Reality. Unlike some other mental health conditions, there's no specific medication for DASD. While certain symptoms, like anxiety or depression, may be managed with medication, the core features of DASD are typically addressed through psychotherapy. Misconception 37. People with DASD can't handle criticism or rejection. Reality. While criticism and rejection can be particularly challenging for those with DASD, many can learn to cope with these experiences, especially with therapeutic support. Misconception 38. DASD is just a Western cultural phenomenon. Reality. While cultural factors can influence how DASD manifests, the core features of the disorder have been observed across various cultures worldwide. Misconception 39. People with DASD are always extravagant in their appearance. Reality. While some individuals with DASD may dress provocatively or flamboyantly to attract attention, others might seek attention through other means. Not all people with DASD focus on their appearance as their primary method of gaining notice. Misconception 40. DASD is caused by excessive use of social media. Reality. While social media use can exacerbate symptoms of DASD, it doesn't cause the disorder. DASD was recognized long before the advent of social media platforms. Misconception 41. People with DASD are incapable of being self-aware or recognizing their own behavior. Reality, levels of self-awareness can vary among individuals with DASD. Some may recognize their attention-seeking behaviors and the impact they have on others, while others may not be fully aware. Therapy can often help increase this self-awareness and lead to more constructive behavior. Misconception 42. DASD always develops due to childhood neglect. Reality. While childhood experiences can contribute to the development of DASD, it's not always due to neglect. Some individuals with DASD may have had attentive parents, but develop the disorder due to other factors. Misconception 43. People with DASD can't maintain long-term romantic relationships. Reality. While DASD can complicate romantic relationships, many individuals with this disorder can and do maintain long-term partnerships, especially with understanding partners and proper therapeutic support. Misconception 44. DASD is just an excuse for promiscuous behavior. Reality. While some individuals with DASD may engage in seductive or provocative behavior, this is not true for all. Furthermore, such behavior is driven by a need for attention and validation, not necessarily sexual desire. Misconception 45. People with DASD are always self-centered and incapable of thinking about others. Reality. Individuals with DASD can often be highly empathetic and concerned about others, but their intense emotional needs can sometimes overshadow their ability to fully engage with the needs of others. With therapy, they can learn to balance their own needs with those of others. Misconception 46. DASD is only a problem if it leads to legal trouble or other serious consequences. Reality. DASD can significantly impact a person's quality of life, relationships, and mental health, even if it doesn't result in legal trouble or other overt issues. The emotional instability and relational challenges associated with DASD can cause substantial distress and impairment. Misconception 47. People with DASD don't experience genuine emotions. Reality. Individuals with DASD do experience genuine emotions, often intensely. However, these emotions may be short-lived or rapidly shifting, which can be misinterpreted as insincerity. Misconception 48. DASD is easily identifiable in all situations. Reality. The manifestation of DASD can vary depending on the context and the individual. Some people with DASD may be able to mask their symptoms in certain situations, especially when it's beneficial for them to do so. Misconception 49. People with DASD can't be successful parents. Reality. While DASD can present challenges in parenting, many individuals with this disorder can be caring and attentive parents, especially with proper support and treatment. Misconception 50. DASD is just a phase of adolescence. Reality. While some attention-seeking behaviors are common in adolescence, DASD is a persistent pattern that continues into adulthood and significantly impacts various areas of life. As we conclude our exploration of what we are calling dramatic attention-seeking disorder, it's crucial to remember that behind these misconceptions are real individuals struggling with a complex mental health condition. DASD, like other personality disorders, develops from a combination of genetic, environmental, and neurobiological factors, and its impact on an individual's life can be profound. Understanding DASD requires looking beyond surface behaviors to recognize the underlying needs and insecurities that drive these actions. People with DASD are not simply drama queens or attention seekers. They're individuals grappling with deep-seated fears of being ignored or unimportant. It's also important to note that while we've focused on debunking misconceptions, living with or loving someone with DASD can be challenging. The constant need for attention and approval can strain relationships and lead to emotional exhaustion for both the individual with DASD and those around them. However, it's equally important to emphasize that with proper treatment and support, individuals with DASD can learn to manage their symptoms and develop healthier patterns of behavior and relationships. Treatment typically involves long-term psychotherapy, with approaches such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and psychodynamic therapy showing promise. For those supporting someone with DASD, it's crucial to set clear, healthy boundaries while still offering compassion and understanding. Encouraging professional help and supporting the treatment process can make a significant difference. Remember, destigmatizing DASD doesn't mean excusing harmful behaviors or putting oneself in emotionally dangerous situations. Instead, it means fostering understanding and empathy towards individuals suffering from the disorder, acknowledging their struggles without compromising one's own well-being. As we've seen throughout this series, personality disorders are complex conditions that defy simple explanations or quick fixes. By dispelling myths and promoting accurate information, we hope to contribute to a more nuanced and compassionate understanding of DASD and those affected by it. In our next and final episode, we'll be taking a broader view. We'll explore the behaviors that tend to be common across all Cluster B personality disorders, including extreme self-focused disorder, ESFD, dramatic attention-seeking disorder, DASD, and emotional intensity disorder, EID. However, we won't stop at just identifying these shared behaviors. We'll delve deeper into the crucial differences in the motivations behind these actions.